Basement Studios on East McMurray Road. Strap yourselves in for another stirring edition of At PT.
The lights are on. It must mean we're home. Sit back, relax, and put down the remote for the next 15 minutes. At PT will get you up to date on what you missed here in Peters Township. Hello, I'm Kyle Blackman.
Which must mean I'm Emily Brandstetter. First up on At PT is a four-letter word, PSSA. Pretty sweet statistical analysis. I could be wrong, but I'll bet this is the acronym that every junior here at PTHS thinks of when it's time to take the PSSAs. What it really stands for is the Pennsylvania System of School Assessment, an annual test that students in grades 3 through 8 and 11 have no choice but to take to satisfy the requirements of the Pennsylvania Board of Education. The PSSA is based on standards that verify what students should know and be able to do depending on their grade level. And in case they get confronted in a dark alley and are asked to compose a lengthy essay about what they want to be when they grow up, or maybe what they did on their summer vacation, if history is any indication, Peters students should score through the roof. Juniors here at PTHS took the test from March 20th through the 23rd. When we get the results, you'll be the first to know.
Traditionally, Sadie Hawkins dances are held in November, but when you leave it up to the women to decide when to have it here at PTHS, it doesn't occur until March.
Actually, Kyle, the whole Sadie Hawkins dance idea had to come about because the women got sick of waiting for the men to get off their butts and ask us out. Actually, okay, really, guys. The Sadie Hawkins dance came about as a result of the appearance of Little Abner comic strip back in 1937.
Yeah, Sadie Hawkins was reported to be the homeliest gal in the hills, who grew tired of waiting for the guys to come a-courtin', causing her father to hold an annual Sadie Hawkins Day foot race for the single girls to chase after the single men, with marriage being the, quote, prize. Fortunately for the girls at PTHS, they don't have to work quite as hard. On Saturday, March 18th, the class of 2007 sponsored a Sadie Hawkins dance.
Actually, Kyle, the Sadie Hawkins dance was canceled this year.
I knew that. Well, I guess the next chance to bust a move will be at our prom, May 26th at the Hilton Garden Inn in South Point.
Athletic competition, a battle of strength, determination, ruggedness, and will. All of these are elements of the modern athlete. However, very few of these were on display at the recent Peters Township Middle School student-faculty basketball game. It should be no surprise that the twice-as-tall adult teachers defeated the group of 12 to 14-year-olds March 15th at the Peters Township High School Gymnasium.
Volleyball, pallavolo. No matter how you say volleyball, its appeal is international. It's World War III, as students representing all languages battled out in the sand. Well, in this case, it's a gymnasium floor, as PTHS celebrates Foreign Language Month with the annual International Volleyball Tournament, which is open to all foreign language students in any grade level to benefit the International Society. The games will take place March 28th.
All this week, thespians are raising money for cancer research and education during lunch periods in the high school. The way it works is students can put money into jars representing different teachers. The teacher with the winning amount of money must wear purple hair for an entire day. Never has my change from a Twinkie helped so many other people. In case you're having trouble imagining some of our highly esteemed faculty with purple locks, we here at PT have prepared a little glimpse of what teachers might look best in purple.
While blood spilling is something that Hollywood thinks goes well with eating popcorn and sipping on a Coke, while you're sitting on the edge of your seat during one of your favorite horror flicks, there are those who think differently than Tinseltown. The Central Blood Bank sees it as a more serious problem. Healthy, iron-rich, tattooless PTHS students over 110 pounds were given the opportunity to help save lives by donating blood at a drive held in the high school auditorium on March 14th. As is commonly known, every 3 seconds somebody needs blood. Luckily, that doesn't take into account every 3 seconds of blood spillage in Kill Bill Volume 1.
It's that time of year again. Excuses are flying. You're trying to get all your paperwork in order as the deadline fast approaches. You may think we're talking about tax day, but no. It's an even more dreadful day in the minds of PTHS students. The end of the third report period ends this Thursday, March 30th. As always, you can keep an eye on your grades by checking out Edline on a daily basis.
Imagine this. You've been concentrating hard for 3 hours. Your legs might be a little numb, your pencil carved with little teeth marks, and you can't stop sniffling. All you want to do is just make it to the page with a huge stop sign in the corner. Sounds intense, doesn't it? 3 hours of nonstop test taking may seem a bit extreme, but with PSSAs are just one of the many standardized tests that are required for the PTHS students to take. And since the juniors just finished battling through the PSSAs all last week with the SATs just around the corner, here at PT, we felt it necessary to take a deeper look into the world of standardized testing. Don't forget your number 2 pencil for this exclusive.
On top of grades, athletics, extracurricular activities, jobs, relationships, high school students are asked to assume the added pressure of taking standardized tests. Which ones are important? What do they mean?
The SAT, the ACT, and the PSAT are all college board tests.
I think the school district probably makes us take PSSAs because it's required by the government.
Evaluate what everybody learned and compare it to everybody else.
Because the school district just wants some money and they want to make sure that we're doing pretty well in school.
PSSA is the state-mandated test, so in grades 3 through 8 and the 11th grade, all students in Pennsylvania in those grades have to take the reading and math assessments to determine levels of competency in those particular areas.
I do think we take too many tests because we take them every year, fourth grade on, and the experience is good, but I don't think it's necessary.
I personally believe that we should take more standardized tests. That way we could compare ourselves towards the rest of the educational environment throughout the country.
The school district makes us take too many of them, but they're not that bad because we get out of school for a week, and so I don't really mind them, and these ones are really easy. So.
Well, the reason we do so many standardized tests for various reasons. Some of them are state mandated, like the PSSA. Other tests the school district chooses to do to gauge student progress and also to help with curriculum writing and curriculum planning.
Well, I guess first of all I would say they're not asked to take a great number of standardized tests. The only standardized tests, and they're actually truly considered to be norm reference tests, are the PSSA, and at this point in the high school we will now be taking the ERB CTP4 test.
You can mess up really bad in your grades in high school, and if you get a high enough SAT score, you could really still get into some good colleges.
Getting high grades in high school is much more important because getting high grades you earn throughout the year, and test scores are just a test you take once.
I think that high test scores and high grades are important for college and for personal things, because if you go into a college and you have high test scores, obviously they're going to accept you, but if you don't have high grades, then they're going to know that you don't work hard.
I think it depends, because if you have really high grades, first of all you should get high SAT scores, and second of all you don't need them as much. But if you have lower grades, you should put more emphasis on them.
That a school's responsibility is to teach students how to be good thinkers, not just for good grades, not just to pass tests, but how to think and how to process information, how to use it, because that truly is a lifelong skill that you will use in jobs, in your life, and your relationships. So to teach children to be good thinkers, I believe, is the school's #1 responsibility.
SATs kind of seem to determine your future more than the PSSAs. The PSSAs are just more about the school district, and the SATs are more about myself.
I think there's too much emphasis on standardized testing because some people have difficulty taking tests, and that doesn't reflect how intelligent they are.
Schools in general make us take so many standardized tests that people don't really take them seriously. Therefore, they goof off, they don't study for them.
Some people can have a bad day and not have a good test score for SATs, and I'm really stressing out about them, so I'm not really excited to take those.
I think the most pressure comes from the test and trying to balance the rest of your day and having to take the tests. I know personally, I sat down and had the PSSAs for 3 hours, and I went to another class and took a test, and that really takes a toll on you throughout the rest of the day and the week.
Obviously, the most important thing that we believe we do is to educate students, to help students learn and acquire the skills that will be important for them to be successful in life.
As far as the standardized tests, a lot of the standardized tests are based on how well do you think, not necessarily how much that you know. So in teaching some of the background information, like in math and English and science and social studies, it prepares students not directly for the test, but it gives them a background of knowledge so that they can apply their thinking skills in taking those tests.
And we may all believe that we were doing very well here within the confines of Peters Township School District. But if we didn't compare ourselves to folks outside of Peters Township, we might lose perspective on how well we are doing compared to the rest of the world. And now that students are going to have to compete in a global economy, it's more important than ever that we have those external validations of what it is that we're attempting to accomplish here in Peters Township.
Well, that's all we have for the news section of At PT. Now we're going to turn it over to Miss Steph Lacey at the Sports Information Center. Take it away, Steph.
Thanks, guys. Spring sports have finally begun, but we still have some final PIAA state news to cover first. First off, PTHS sent a number of swimmers to the state championships at Bucknell University in early March. Kate Rich placed 8th in the state in the 100-yard butterfly. Dan Smith also placed 8th in the 200-yard IM and 7th in the 100-yard backstroke. Finally, Matt Connor finished 11th in the 200-yard IM. An opening weekend trip to Columbia, South Carolina proved highly successful for the PTHS baseball team as they took all 3 games. Jordan Janukowski got the win in a 7-1 decision over Trinity. Yes, Peters Township and Trinity traveled 520 miles to play each other on Friday, while James Stratico got the victory in a 12-7 win over Lakewood Friday night. On Saturday, the team won its 3rd game on the arm of Kevin McGuire by a score of 7-3 over Mars. This week, the Indians open up their Peterswood Park home season with games against Char Valley this Tuesday at 4 p.m. and Belle Vernon next Monday. Over on the courts, the boys tennis team hosts the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils today, Monday, March 27th at 3 p.m., before hitting the road against 2 more Route 19 rivals, Bethel Park on Wednesday and Upper St. Clair on Friday. Moving inside, the boys volleyball team kicked off its regular season last Friday with a loss against the South Park Eagles. The team takes to the road this week against Penn Trafford and Pine Richland on Thursday. After losing to the Hempfield last Friday, the girls' softball team hosts the Keystone Oaks Golden Eagles today, Monday, March 27th, before the team takes to the Disney Sports Complex this weekend. The girls' lacrosse team kicked off its season with a trip to Philadelphia with 1 out of 3 games won. The team is traveling to play Oakland Catholic today at 5:30 p.m. and will return home to take on North Allegheny this Thursday at 7:30 p.m. And finally, the PTHS track team will race against Char Valley in their next upcoming meet on Tuesday, March 28th. Spring sports have finally arrived. We'll be sure to keep you updated here at PT. Now let's turn it over to Tina Castillo and Mark Priori for the entertainment report.
Thanks, Steph. Mark, why don't you start it off with the top movies of the week?
Coming out on top this weekend was Inside Man at number 1. V for Vendetta weighed in at number 2. At number 3, Stay Alive. Number 4, Failure of the Launch. And finally, making it to number 5, The Shaggy Dog. Get Rich or Die Trying comes out this week on DVD, starring hip-hop star 50 Cent. The plot was inspired by his own life. You know, I hate it when singers become actors, and then models, and then fashion designers when they run out of careers.
Well, Mark, I personally can't wait for the 50 Cent Bling Bling to come out after 50 goes through another profession.
Yes, well, looking much better for DVDs, King Kong is being released. Directed by Lord of the Rings director Peter Jackson and starring half of Hollywood, as well as Naomi Watts, Jack Black, Adrian Brody, Andy Serkis, and Thomas Kretschmann. King Kong is definitely going to be picked off the shelves fast. In case you want a little more artistic flavor, Rob Marshall's thrice Academy Award-winning Memoirs of a Geisha hits shelves. For all you science fiction fans, Quantum Leap Season 4 DVD collection has arrived. The series started with physicist Sam Beckett in 1989, hopscotching through time and space, to end in 1993. Another completed series out on DVD is Northern Exposure, with a 5-season run. This comedy-drama series follows the life of Dr. Joel Fleischman, a recent medical school graduate in the small town of Sickley, Alaska. And it looks like I'm out of DVDs.
My top pick of the week goes to V for Vendetta, a movie of its own genre. Directed by James McTeague, starring Natalie Portman and Hugo Weaving, V for Vendetta follows the plans of a political activist using terroristic techniques to destroy the parliament on the 5th of November. It reminds me of a mix between Orwell's 1984 and Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment put on the big screen. V for Vendetta is a definite must-see in theaters movie that I promise every face will be smiling at the end with this big bang of an ending. In theaters this weekend, March 31st, while the combination of Ray Romano, John Leguizamo, Dennis Leary, Seann William Scott, and Queen Latifah would make for an interesting live-action movie, lucky for us, it's animated, as their combined voice talents make up the sequel to the 2002 hit Ice Age with Ice Age: The Meltdown. I don't know if the Ice Age is over and melting. Normally I wouldn't place any bets on an Ice Age 3, but that's where some real creativity comes in. Ice Age 3, after the meltdown. Ice Age 4, dealing with freezer burn. Ice Age 5, getting kind of chilly again. You get the picture. Audience are going to have a tough time believing Keanu Reeves in a big sci-fi movie, but that's just what you have to deal with in director Richard Linklater's, yes, the same School of Rock and Bad News Bears, Richard Linklater, A Scanner Darkly. Hollywood likes latching on to a successful thing, so why not use another Philip K. Dick story to follow in the footsteps of Blade Runner, Total Recall, and Minority Report. Also coming out is Slither, a movie with a truly inspired and original plot, a town whose residents are turned into zombies and monsters. And finally, ATL, a story of a group of high school students in the hip-hop generation who have to grow up before their time on the streets of Atlanta. I miss the old John Hughes coming-of-age stories. I'm thinking this one will not be starring any of the Brat Pack. Well, that must mean we're out of time. Until next time, you've been watching TV. Keep watching us because we'll be watching you.